Okay, so now that leads us to shallow people. There is an order, there's a spiritual order in the world that's based on reproduction. And if you do not have the capstone of the pyramid, there's no point. Without the capstone, so to speak, you can take some sand and put it there. It's not the same. I am the stone that the builder has rejected in this sense. I am the true cultivation and direction of humanity that society and people who are bodybuilding, the builders as individuals, the builders as secret societies, the official builders with legitimate power and public power, they have rejected. They did not stand with me. They did not submit to me. They did not place themselves under me symbolically and in the truest sense of the word, to the truest meaning of the word. Okay. So they are ignoring truths, and this is a genetic quality. Some people, it's the fish and water effect, really. The fish of the great fishermen, okay, and the water of truth, the well of life, the well of God. A fish of Jesus cannot exist in a system that plays stupid. It is like a fish out of water. They need to be in the water, the well, to be willing to be in the well to survive. Someone like me is going to be screened out and targeted, okay? And even if they stop right now, they would have screened me out because they've done irreversible damage to my body, to my brain, etc., and it's going to contribute to my death one way or another. Okay. They've kind of unnaturally changed my direction to a certain degree while I am still incapable of doing anything but trying to the best of my ability to do the will of God with no excuses. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to do the best of my ability, but my family is where I draw the line. No. There is nothing that I withhold from God. Look at the story of Abraham and Isaac. Read Matthew 10:37. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Okay? I did not withhold anything from God on behalf of my family or my race or this, that, and the other thing. Okay? So ignoring these truths is a genetic quality. Putting your family above God is a genetic quality. If you breed with somebody that puts their family above God, you are not breeding in the true spirit of God. You are breeding in the wrong direction. And your kid cannot magically change direction for everybody else. They have to be led by someone like me, and I am the last one left. They have to be led by someone from the royal family of Eri who has been chosen to lead humanity in the next direction. If at any point this person is cut off, all of man is cut off. Just like it said in the Egyptian story that I constantly quote, that part of the story is true. The period in which it's told was a disgraceful period, but that part was true. Okay? If anything, if the reproductive cycle of the prophet, of God's son, is interrupted, the people will necessarily die. Okay? So, and this kind of casts doubt on the Bible's truth. It's more like a con man's imitation is the more logical assumption, but the truths in it are there. Okay, so nature and let nurture, right? So nurture is a determinant for human behavior, but not for natural leadership. Again, I tell you, nurture is a determinant for human behavior, but not natural. He's a natural, right? I can teach it. I can tell a snake how to fly all I want. Okay, is it going to take off like a hawk? No. Okay? Nurture is not a determinant for natural leadership. It is a determinant for human behavior. I can change people into men of God, okay, with the Spirit. I can't necessarily make a snake fly, but I can move it in the direction where over time its children will be ready to fly, and it will die in a way that is consistent with sacred morality so it can be right with God. Transform a rah. Conveyance. My dad at his finest was when he was training me to be a man of God and spanking me with righteous indignation. A form of percussive skills, all jokes aside, if you will. That intense pain that I felt when I was being spanked for doing something wrong as he was trying his best at that moment, in the face of adversity, there was stress and unfairness being conveyed, but within that kind of mix was this pure righteous indignation that was being conveyed. The warrior castes of every religion have been taken away. Look at Hinduism, right? It goes back to traditionalism, which also goes back to the lack of the seeing the good and reproduce. Hindus would have you believe that if every Indian Hindu went astray and they were pure evil scum, they would still want their daughters to marry one of them. That appalling inability to see the good and transcend the system of liars is why they are wrong. They used to have a warrior caste in charge, and it was replaced by mages that lie so they can look good and survive and protect their image. Mages. How can they replace the warrior caste? If this is the true and original message, how can you replace them? I say. And now that you have, I am your only hope. I am the true message from the spiritual realm through nature. When martial artists try to understand life, they study nature. They are empty, I tell you, if they do not study me. And if they cannot come up with a more logical, viable argument as to what is expected from the spiritual realm, what is true morality, they must fall in line or there is no honor. Defaulting with one's people alone is not honorable. Having the most accurate argument that's based in reality is honorable. Illusion is illness. Psychology is illness. It's based on illusion. Tricking yourself to feel better. Tricking others to get what you want. And even worse, psychological warfare for whose benefit? It's even called psychological warfare, not mind, body, soul warfare, not religious warfare for true morality, not morality as warfare, but psyche. The Greek illusion, where magic was the unofficial tactics of the day. Illusion is what they refer to as magic. Certainly they are wrong. Every religion testifies against them. If they look into their own religion, they will see the truth in my words and present their daughters to me. If they do not, do they not deserve to burn? You comb your hair every day because you care about your body and your hair and your appearance. Why wouldn't you have the repetition of refining your soul every day? Why would you limit it to looking at one thing? Why wouldn't you explore ideas? Why would you suppress as a religion my idea? And my goodness, every religion has its spiritual leaders, quote unquote, aware of my argument. And even worse, certainly aware of it being made by me at this crucial and critical time. Certainly they have discredited themselves completely, as every spiritual system has. Anyone who hasn't submitted to me has discredited their movement, and God wants nothing to do with them. The warrior ancestors that defined their religion want nothing to do with them. They are cowards who ran away in the midst of battle when we were filled with the Spirit of the Lord. Who would want anything to do with that kind of pussy? My goodness. You are better off leaving your family to be raped by pedophiles forever than turning your back on the martial arts order. That ends with me. Substances and psychology instead of pure sun temple intense honing. Honest hone as. You can pretend that wordplay doesn't exist, but can you avoid connecting those ideas? Honorable, hone your able. You can pretend those Latin roots, etc., don't exist. The phonetics, the etymology, the linguistics, the morphology, you can pretend that that form argument is irrelevant. But can you pretend it doesn't exist? It's like the martial arts crying about my form. You can pretend that I'm not being drugged and blinded. You can pretend that your forum argument means everything. But if we were in ancient combat, my goodness, if I outmaneuvered you and struck you to death, could you pretend you are not dying, you motherfuckers? And why would you if you could? Are you not sick in the fucking head? Do you not have no business telling anybody how to do martial arts? Not even children. Much less a prince of Eri. Obi, I'll ask. Not some fucking scribe or a mage. Obelisk. Phallic symbol. Spirit. Spiritual continuity. I saw a video today with Alicia Keys and her son, and they were talented together. Talent is a word that means, I believe it means weight, if I'm not mistaken. A weight of gold or silver, I believe, is how it was described. My goodness. Do you not see the connection between that figure and figure it out, worship and worship? You can pretend that this wordplay isn't accurate, but are you so fucking stupid and so out of touch with reality that you can pretend that there is no connection? That people don't emulate the movie stars? That the Greeks didn't emulate their statues? That they didn't have a similar face, shape, and form? Look at the statues and the paintings and look around you, people. Who looks like who and why? Subtly and otherwise, unwittingly and otherwise, are they not emulating and taking that form? Transform. Transcend. Transcend. Now, my intention is not to break down any possibility that you have to connect to the Creator. My intention is to show you what is left of the possibility you have to connect to the Creator. Don't be like women who had their country invaded and see their people get raped and killed and drugged and poisoned and given smallpox all around them. And then they say, with a kind of ditzy, kind of sugary, kind of LSD, kind of drugged up look in their eyes, they say, "Can I have a ride on your ship, on your horse, in your carriage?" Can they then turn around and tell you that they are right about the spiritual realm and the continuity of the martial arts in your prince is wrong? How stupid would you have to be? Holy, whole A. Not whore A. Not pimp A. Not the ruffian pirates, the rapists, the colonists, those who took things that that do not belong to them. They didn't even give credit to the martial arts order while they were doing it, so they couldn't possibly be in the true spirit of God. Oh, and when you join them in their culture, in their systematic oppression, looting, rape, 620,000 women on record every year, 2,000 a day or so. When you join them in this disgrace, and you breed in this disgrace, outside of the will and water of God, how can you expect to reconnect? You are drunk off the blood of the saints. Your breath reeks with the blood of the saints. You have ejaculated into the daughters of the saints who would have otherwise known better all throughout history. Can you then take your hellspawn and bring them to God? No, you cannot. Only I can. And time is running out. And you are valuing your hair and your flesh and your reflection in your mirrors that you bought with ill-gotten gains over the Spirit of the Lord that forges souls and prepares them to take off. Your bat wings will not deliver you. Again, my purpose is to defeat the evil in you. If you have to struggle with your ego, at least win before it is too late.